Let's start the 7th video in working of institutions. Topic is political and permanent executive. Okay, you may heard about executive. Okay, so in this video we'll concentrate on permanent and political executive. Starting with the meaning of executive. Okay, we know three organs. Okay, and executive is one of the organ of government. Yeah, and coming to the meaning of executive, children, at different levels of any government, we find functionaries who take day-to-day decisions at different levels of government, maybe in the central government or state government. Okay, we find functionaries who take decisions for day-to-day decisions. Okay, they decides what to do. Okay, on day-to-day basis. Yeah, but they do not exercise supreme power on behalf of the people. Okay, executive. All those functionaries are known as executive. Okay, so which is this executive? At different levels of any government, maybe state government or union government, we find functionaries who take day-to-day decisions, but they do not exercise supreme power on behalf of the people. All those functionaries collectively known as executive. Now, and they are in charge of the execution of the policies of the government. Okay, so this executive executes the policies of the government. Example, okay, in the second video we have discussed about office memorandum. Okay, and who signed in the office memorandum? The office in charge. Okay, the office in charge. Okay, but the decision taken by political executive. Okay, the decision is taken by political executive, but the who is executing the policies of the government? There comes the permanent executive. The office memorandum is an example, children. Okay, now move on to two types of executive in India. Okay, we can divide the executive into two types: political executive and permanent executive. Coming to the political executive, children, they are elected by the people for a specific period. Political executive, they are elected by the people for a specific period, usually 5 years, children. Yeah. Now, and they take political leaders who takes major decisions fall in this category. Okay, that means the political executive takes the major decisions in India. Move on to the permanent executive. People are appointed for long-term basis. Permanent executive, they are appointed for long-term basis. And the persons working in civil services known as civil servants. And they remain in office. They remain in office even when the ruling party changes. Okay, ruling party, it's for 5 years. Okay, but this permanent executive remain in the office when the ruling party changes. And these permanent executive work under the political executive and they assist them in carrying day-to-day administration. Okay, for carrying out the day-to-day work, This permanent executive, they are actually assisting the political executive. Okay, so what we have discussed, children? Two executive in India, political and permanent executive. Coming to the first one, the political executive elected by the people for a specific period. They are elected by the people, okay, and for a specific period. You know, in India we are electing them for 5 years, and they take the major decisions. Political executive takes the major decisions. Now, coming to the permanent executive, we know people, the government officials, they are appointing for long-term basis till retirement. Okay, till retirement they are serving, they are in service. Okay, and the persons working in civil services, they usually known as civil servants. They remain in office even when the ruling party changes. Okay, till retirement these civil servants will be there. Okay, but the ruling party, after 5 years, the ruling party changes. Now, they are actually working under the political executive, and they assist, permanent executive assist them in carrying day-to-day administration. Okay, move on to the next topic, children. Why does the political executive more powerful than the non-political executive? Okay, why the political executive is more powerful than the non-political or permanent executive? Yeah, the reasons are, children, the civil servant is usually more educated and has more expert knowledge of the subject. We know, children, okay, the civil servants, okay, they are expert, okay, they are expert in particular field, but and actually they are working as the advisors to ministers, these civil servants. Okay, take the case of finance. Okay, the advisors working in the finance ministry know more economics, okay, more methods or policies of economics than the finance minister. Okay, actually the finance minister is appointing as the finance minister. He may or may not be expert in that field. Okay, if you look at the recent trend, children, the finance ministers, they are expert. Okay, they at least they have the knowledge of that particular subject. Okay, but in certain ministers, okay, certain ministers, they are not expert. Few ministers are not expert in their field. So advisors will be there. Okay, so those advisors are civil servants. Yeah. Same can be seen in defense technology also. Defense minister or technical matters, or in the case of IT. Okay, minister know, actually the advisors know more about that particular subject, and minister or political executive is more powerful than civil servant or permanent executive. Okay, keep in mind, children, the political executive is more powerful. Okay, but permanent executive, the civil servants, they may be more expert. Actually, they are more expert in those field or their department. Okay, but decisions are taken by ministers. Yeah, move on to the last slide in this video, children. Yeah, why is the minister more powerful than the civil servant? Okay, why ministers are more powerful than the IAS or IPS officers? Actually, they are expert in that field. Then why minister is more powerful? Yeah, coming to that answer, children. Yeah, in a democracy or a democratic country like ours, the will of the people is supreme and the minister is elected by the people. Okay, we know ministers. We are electing the MPs. From the member of parliament, ministers are electing or elected. Okay, so who is electing the ministers? We the people. And they are empowered to exercise the will of the people on their behalf. Okay, after election, we are sending our representatives as MPs, member of parliament. Okay, and the prime minister decides the ministers from the MPs, elected MPs. Okay, so actually they exercise the will of the people. Then minister is answerable to the people. He is answerable to the people. Okay, actually the civil servants, they are not answerable to the people. Okay, the minister, if any issue comes or any complaint comes, the minister in that department is answerable. Then the minister is not expected to be an expert in the matter of her ministry. In the last slide itself, we have discussed that, children. Okay, minister not expected to an expert in her ministry. Okay, sometimes he or she may be expert. Okay, otherwise, usually ministers take the help of advisors. Okay, advisors in expert field. Yeah, but the experts, so these experts can tell the route. Okay, they will tell the route, but someone with a larger view decides the destination. The decision is taken by minister. Experts can give some opinions. Okay, opinions experts can support or give, but the final decision taken by the minister. So, in a democracy, elected ministers perform this decision taking, okay, or final decision taken by the minister. Okay, yeah. So, what we have discussed in this 7th video, executive. Which are the two types of executive in India? Political executive and permanent executive. Okay, political executive, the elected members. Permanent executive, the civil servants. And which executive is more powerful? Political executive is more powerful than permanent executive. We'll continue in the next video.